A successful 12-year relationship between seven-time Formula One world champion Sir Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes has come to an end. Hamilton drove his last race for the Silver Arrows out in Abu Dhabi yesterday, finishing a very respectable fourth after starting in 18th. Now, to talk about the season that was and Hamilton's move, we have roped in studio the man from Moto-Za, Lufefe Mayekiso. Lufefe, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Vusiwe, and thank you for having me in this auspicious morning.
Oh, auspicious morning. Let's start our conversation and just talk to the season that was in Formula One. Which drivers impressed you? Which teams impressed you?
Okay, I think this season has been one of the most exciting that we've seen in a while because there were a lot of race winners, a lot of multiple race winners, a lot of 1-2 finishers. So I think for me, there's been a couple of impressive drivers. Lando Norris, he's made a step forward. Yes, he wasn't able to take the battle all the way to Abu Dhabi to Max Verstappen, the world champion, once again. But I think he was really good. McLaren have won the constructors, so credit has to go to his teammate as well, Oscar Piastri.
Indeed, and when perhaps we look at the situation with the Lewis Hamilton and a Mercedes, do you think by announcing his move and moving to Ferrari, he made it easier for a Toto Wolff to not perhaps have to make the difficult decision of saying, well, your contracts come to an end, we're not renewing, and possibly a Wolff then getting an opportunity to sign a young Kimi Antonelli and not miss out on the youngster like he did with Max Verstappen?
Well, I think it's the other way around because Lewis had his contract negotiations last year where it was reported that he wanted a 3-year contract, right? 2-year with a 1-year extension and to be the brand ambassador for Mercedes until 2035. Unfortunately, that was not on the table for him. So they say they'll give him a 1-year contract, which is this year, with an option for next year, which is what then prompted him to continue the chat with Ferrari.
And we are looking forward to seeing how that relationship is going to be looking next season. But one thing that we certainly will be looking forward to is a very competitive Formula One next season. Let's talk to Lando Norris saying that next season is his. What do you make of that? Because he's going to be going up against the likes of a Lewis Hamilton in a more competitive car, according to many. He's going to be up against a Max Verstappen, a Charles, and even his own teammate.
You're 100% correct. You know, it's like I'm an Arsenal fan. So Arsenal fans are always saying next season. They're like they should be on Netflix. But if you look at where Arsenal are now, it's next season. Liverpool, Chelsea have come. It's not just City. So there are no guarantees in sport what will happen in the following year. I mean, I feel like this was a great opportunity for Lando, who definitely had the fastest car over the course of the season to fight for the championship. So there are no guarantees.
I want to speak about a Stella out at McLaren, a very competitive team. He knows how to win. What do you make of the upcoming season? Do you see them maintaining that upward trajectory that they've been on with the team that he's working with?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think you are asking who's impressive with the drivers, but in terms of the teams and the cars, McLaren definitely is the class of the field. If you look at where they were in Bahrain and Australia at the beginning of this season, they were midfield, even at the back, and then they made that astronomical step forward where they're about 7/10 quicker than they were at the beginning of the season. I expect them to continue in that trajectory next year, but they won't be on their own because all the other teams seem to be getting their acts together, the top teams at least.
The top teams do seem to be getting their act together. What do you make then of that final race out in Abu Dhabi and how the races lined up? And I spoke in the intro about Lewis Hamilton finishing fourth just ahead of his teammate as well in Russell. What do you make of how that race panned out to just sum up the season?
Had it not been for Max colliding with Oscar Piastri on the opening lap, I think we would have seen a much more exciting race, a race between the papaya drivers, Oscar and Lando. Unfortunately, we were robbed of that, which meant Lando ran away with it because there was no one to touch him. I think he led start to finish. Behind him, the race was really good. I mean, I think Lewis has shown that he's still got it because a lot of people seem to be doubting his ability. But if you look at his performance in Las Vegas, he was easily the fastest driver. and I would say even yesterday. Then Charles Leclerc, who also started 19th, I think he did really well to make up all the positions that he did to finish 4th.
Lewis Hamilton has never won a championship in an Adrian Newey car. Moving to Ferrari with a very good competitive car and a good team, how do you see things playing out in the upcoming season for Lewis Hamilton? Do you see the 8th title coming his way?
Well, it's uncharted territory because his entire F1 career, he's been in Mercedes power, with McLaren being powered by Mercedes before he moved to Mercedes in 2013. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic for him to move outside of his comfort zone, so to speak, because he was actually a Mercedes development driver even before. McLaren, but with Mercedes-powered engines. So this is the first time that he won't be racing with Mercedes in his pro career, and I'd love to see it.
We have unfortunately run out of time, but before I say goodbye, just give me that line that Toto Wolff said to Lewis Hamilton at the end of yesterday's race.
Lewis, if we can't win, you still must.
Oh, very interesting. They're coming from Toto Wolff speaking to Lewis Hamilton. And that's the note in which we'll wrap up your sport news for today right here on Morning Live.